Stop everything you're planning because the latest travel alert from the Trump administration could completely change your plans to visit the United States. Travelers around the world are facing unprecedented restrictions, and it's not just minor inconveniences. This could mean being denied a visa for health reasons you might never have imagined, coupled with facial recognition checks at every checkpoint. The rules are strict, the implementation is immediate, and the consequences can be severe. Anyone hoping for a smooth trip, whether for business, study, or leisure, now has to rethink how they approach travel entirely. The reality is harsh. A minor medical condition could prevent you from ever stepping foot in the country, and your face alone might become a barrier to entry. Starting right now, visa applicants are subject to far more rigorous health screenings than ever before. What was once a routine process is now fraught with uncertainty. Health issues that may have been overlooked in the past, such as controlled chronic conditions or minor infections, are now being flagged as potential risks. The U.S. government is claiming that this move is designed to protect public safety, but the lack of transparency around what qualifies as a disqualifying condition is causing widespread panic. Travelers who previously had no issues obtaining visas are now receiving denials without clear explanations. Families planning vacations months in advance, professionals attending critical conferences, and students preparing for study abroad programs are all being affected. The sudden shift has left airlines and travel agencies scrambling to provide guidance, but even experts admit that the rules are still evolving and there is no guarantee that any preparation will ensure entry. The health risk component alone is enough to make anyone reconsider their travel plans, but it's only half the story. The second major change is the implementation of facial recognition technology at every checkpoint. Airports, seaports, and even some land borders now require travelers' faces to be scanned and cross-referenced with federal databases. This means that no matter how legitimate your visa or travel documents are, your face itself becomes a critical piece of information that determines whether you can enter. Facial recognition may sound futuristic, but for many travelers, it is now a source of anxiety. Any discrepancies, such as differences caused by aging, recent medical procedures, or even lighting conditions, can result in delays, questioning, or outright denial. The technology is designed to enhance security, but errors are inevitable, and the consequences are often felt by travelers rather than the system itself. Already, stories are emerging from around the globe of travelers being denied entry for reasons that once would have seemed trivial. Some have reported visa denials after disclosing pre-existing health conditions that they had never before considered problematic. Others have been held at airports for hours while facial scans are repeatedly verified against federal databases. Business travelers have missed important meetings, students have arrived late for critical academic deadlines, and families have had long-awaited vacations thrown into chaos. The financial and emotional costs are significant, and in many cases, there is little recourse. Even seasoned travelers, accustomed to navigating complex immigration systems, are finding themselves unprepared for these new measures. Health experts note that while the rules are intended to prevent the spread of illness and protect public health, the criteria for denial remain opaque. It's unclear which medical conditions are considered disqualifying, leaving travelers in a state of uncertainty. Some reports suggest that even routine medical histories may now be scrutinized more intensely than ever before. This creates a stressful situation for anyone planning to visit the U.S., as it's impossible to know in advance whether a minor health concern might result in a denied visa. Travel advisors are now recommending consulting with immigration lawyers or medical professionals to ensure compliance. But even these steps cannot guarantee approval. The level of unpredictability has never been higher. At the same time, privacy advocates are sounding the alarm over facial recognition technology. While the government insists that the system is necessary for national security, critics argue that the technology is prone to mistakes and could disproportionately affect certain groups. Minor changes in appearance, medical procedures, or even cultural attire can result in mismatches, delays, or further questioning. For families traveling with children or elderly members, the stakes are even higher, as the technology may struggle to accurately verify younger or older faces. Even small mistakes can escalate, creating stressful and potentially humiliating situations for travelers. For the travel industry, these new rules represent a massive shift. Airlines are having to adjust boarding and ticketing procedures to accommodate longer processing times, while travel agencies are advising clients to bring detailed medical documentation, including doctor's notes and vaccination records. Some are even recommending that travelers arrive at airports several hours earlier than usual to allow time for screenings and potential delays. Despite these precautions, experts emphasize that no amount of preparation can eliminate the risk of being denied entry or held at a checkpoint. The uncertainty is unprecedented and is forcing both travelers and businesses to adapt rapidly. International students and employees seeking work visas are also feeling the impact. Universities are reporting delays in student arrivals, and employers are noticing that international workers are struggling to meet onboarding deadlines. Academic programs, professional projects, and research collaborations are all at risk of disruption. For students, arriving late could mean missing critical coursework or important exams. For professionals, missing deadlines could have long-term consequences on careers. The ripple effects of these policies are extensive, affecting not only individual travelers, but also institutions and businesses that rely on the mobility of international visitors. Travelers are being urged to take proactive measures. Staying informed through official government channels, embassies, and consulates is now more critical than ever. Preparing detailed health records and ensuring they are easily accessible can help mitigate the risk of visa denial. Understanding how facial recognition systems operate and what documentation is required at each checkpoint can also reduce delays. Finally, mental preparedness is key. Being patient, cooperative, and calm can make a significant difference when dealing with high-security screenings. Travelers who fail to anticipate these new challenges are likely to face unnecessary stress and complications. The Trump administration's new rules are not just about individual inconvenience. They represent a fundamental shift in how the United States approaches immigration and border security. There is now an emphasis on risk management and surveillance over traditional accessibility. While protecting public health and national security are legitimate goals, critics argue that these measures create unnecessary barriers for legitimate travelers. Certain populations may be disproportionately affected, and navigating these rules requires significant preparation and awareness. The travel landscape has changed dramatically, and anyone planning a trip must take these changes seriously. Financial and economic implications are also significant. Tourism-dependent businesses in the United States, such as airlines, hotels, and restaurants, may face declines if travelers are deterred by stricter health screenings and facial recognition requirements. International business travelers may seek alternative destinations with fewer restrictions, potentially affecting trade and professional collaborations. Universities and research institutions could see decreased enrollment and participation from international students and scholars. The broader impact of these rules extends far beyond individual travelers. It could reshape travel patterns, business networks, and even cultural exchange. Some experts predict that these measures could persist for the foreseeable future. Even if the initial rationale is public health, the infrastructure being built for facial recognition and health-based visa screening is unlikely to be dismantled quickly. Travelers should assume that these rules will be enforced rigorously and consistently, at least in the short term. The new reality is that international travel to the United States requires more preparation, documentation, and patience than ever before. Ignorance or complacency could result in denied entry, financial losses, and considerable frustration. For those still determined to travel despite these challenges, careful planning is essential. document all relevant medical information, double-check visa requirements, and ensure that all personal identification aligns with government records. Arrive at airports and checkpoints with ample time to navigate screenings and be prepared for questioning or delays. Maintaining a calm, cooperative demeanor can help smooth the process. Being proactive and informed is the only way to avoid the harsh consequences of these new rules. Families with children, elderly relatives, or travelers with pre-existing medical conditions face unique challenges. Facial recognition may struggle to accurately scan young children or older adults, and health screenings may flag conditions that were previously considered minor. In such cases, additional documentation, medical clearances, and contingency plans are essential. Parents and caregivers should prepare thoroughly to avoid unnecessary complications, delays, or emotional stress. This level of planning may feel excessive, but in the current travel environment, it is necessary to ensure a smooth journey. Businesses that rely on international travel also need to adjust. Companies should anticipate delays for employees traveling to the United States and factor in the possibility of denied visas or extended screenings. Travel budgets may need to increase to accommodate longer layovers or alternate travel arrangements. Conferences, client meetings, and other professional engagements may require flexible scheduling to account for uncertainty. Organizations that fail to plan for these new realities risk losing both time and money. Privacy concerns remain at the forefront of debates over facial recognition technology. Critics warn that the technology is prone to errors and could result in discrimination. Data security is another critical issue. How the federal government stores, processes, and protects travelers' biometric information is not fully transparent. Travelers may have limited recourse if their data is mishandled or misused, adding another layer of anxiety to an already stressful experience. The combination of health-based visa denials and facial recognition systems represents a significant shift in how personal information is used in border security. Ultimately, the urgent travel alert is a wake-up call for anyone planning a trip to the United States. Visa denials for health risks and facial recognition at every checkpoint are not temporary inconveniences. They represent a new standard for international travel. Being informed, prepared, and proactive is essential. Travelers must document their health, understand identification requirements, and remain patient under scrutiny. Ignoring these rules or underestimating their impact could result in denied entry, financial loss, and emotional stress. The message is clear. The landscape of international travel has changed, and adapting quickly is the only way to ensure a smooth journey. Families, students, professionals, and tourists alike must take these new measures seriously. Preparing in advance, staying informed, and taking proactive steps can make the difference between a successful trip and a frustrating, costly experience. Travel is no longer just about tickets and destinations. It's about navigating a complex web of health regulations, security protocols, and technological checks that will define the future of entering the United States. In conclusion, this is not a drill. Urgent travel alerts like these signal a permanent shift in how visas and entry are handled. Health-based visa denials and facial recognition checkpoints are changing the rules of international travel in ways that demand preparation, awareness, and caution. The days of simple travel plans are over. Entering the United States now requires meticulous documentation, understanding of evolving regulations, and readiness to face new challenges at every checkpoint. Travelers who take these warnings seriously, prepare carefully, and anticipate potential obstacles will have the best chance of a smooth, successful journey. Those who do not may find themselves facing denied entry, extended delays, and disrupted plans, making this travel alert one of the most consequential in recent history.